Hey traders, I'm going to try to keep it short today. Please like my video if you get a chance. Comments below are appreciated. If you're seeing something I'm not seeing here. So bottom line is I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible here, guys. Um, uh, if you go on a week-on-week basis right here, we're right in the middle of the week-on-week range. Down here is our major support. I've got it dark green as major weekly support coming into today's session. Okay. So be very mindful of that going forward here. That tells us 5820 area is very important week on week support. We're not even breaking the prior week's volume distribution. So we are currently consolidating above a prior accumulation distribution zone from 3 weeks ago. Okay. So seemingly building a higher low to open a session here on Monday. So be very mindful of that. Starting out our session here on the ESs. Okay, we are potentially here, right here, came down into a major support here on from Friday. The CPI news that came out a couple weeks ago, or yeah, a week ago. We're bouncing off of that this morning. We're currently below VWAP, below weekly VWAP to start the session. We're currently below our weekly central pivot range for this week. Okay, so that's a little bit on the bearish side of inventory. And our volume profile on the weekly is actually suggesting we're on the bearish side of inventory as well. So for 1 week's time frame, we're on the bearish side of inventory to kick off the session. Okay, some little things that I'm looking at this morning. Okay, we still got the China news gap below us that has not been filled. That's another thing we got to think about here. And we actually had a weak end of month window dressing scenario. We came up uh, uh, before the end of the month, and then we sold off uh, before the end of the month. Okay, so we didn't actually close at the highs for the end of the month for window dressing, so be mindful of that. Suggesting we may have exhausted the move higher before the month even ended. So we have to be mindful of that going forward here. Any other things that I can say right here? Uh, so basically, we're trapped inside of the prior week's trading range with a volume distribution below us here. So this is a fairly significant. This right here, I don't even have it drawn out, is a fairly significant support to be mindful here going forward here. I can add that to my range right here. Okay, because of all that volume right there, this is the accumulation distribution zone for the markets. So 5865 becomes very important now going into today's session. Okay, so be very mindful of that as a very important support. And that almost lines up perfectly with the CPI news uh, event. So be mindful of that as well. Okay. And we're above it. You have to be mindful that the edge is to the bulls even with this dip. Okay. So be very mindful of this. So similar situation here. We are acting a little bit weaker here. We're already into this lower distribution from 3 weeks. Okay, here on the NQs. That is something, a big takeaway that we have to be mindful here. If we go here and put another rectangle right here as a major support. Okay. Bottom line is if we start losing 21,140, if we start losing 21,140 today, we have to start getting really nervous. If you're a bull, 21,140 is our major line in the sand. As you can see, I got some regression channels here on the smaller time frames here, and we're coming right into the bottom edge of this regression channel early on this morning. We are below the weekly VWAP, below the VWAP, below our weekly central pivot range. So we're on the bearish side of all those inventories to kick off the session this morning. Okay, our major support is down here around 21,000, and we still have our China uh, gap below us here. China gap below us here that has not been satisfied. We'd still on the ESs we still have an upside gap that didn't get a short-term gap that didn't get filled, but NQs actually satisfied all the short-term gaps to the upside. So the only gaps we got to look at are on the downside here on the NQs. So be very mindful of that. Okay. This is the biggest worry that I have, the relative weakness of the volume profile, how we are opening at these lows, a 3-week consolidation lows. So this would be my biggest warning going into today's session, the relative weakness we're seeing here on the NQs. If I go on the daily here on this one here, and you can see, let's go to 4 hour maybe. Yeah. Okay, guys. So this is the big channel. Okay, this is a major channel that we are trading right at this morning, potentially breaking out of this channel in today's session. So we've been defending it on a 4-hour basis. So we have been defending this channel, trying to find support and defend the channel lows. But I don't want to overstate, understate the fact that we might be we're put in higher lows. But just be very mindful of that. Okay, real quick here on the Russell. I've got this similar channels on the Russell. Okay, guys, but we are breaking further away from the channel. This upward channel here, we are breaking further away of this regression channel. These prior lows acting as our channel lows. Just be very mindful of that in today's session. The Russell acting some relative weakness here. We are coming on. There's a lower distribution down here on the Russell. Let me go back down here in 30-minute on that one. Okay, we do have a head and shoulders potential back test of a break this morning below weekly central pivot. Still fighting our weekly VWAPs. Okay, so just little things that I'm looking at here. Good thing about it is we're not down here. Okay, but we're still inside of our weekly ranges as well. We're trying to defend the last week open and the last week low. Okay, so we are still trapped inside a week on week range. So that's a good thing too. So not getting any clear signals of a directional move to start the session here. We're working still opening inside of week on all indices inside of the prior week's trading range. So be very mindful of that going forward here. Real quick takeaways, our 10-year treasuries doing a major back test this morning. Okay, so this is actually green. This should be buy the dip on the ZNs until proven otherwise. Testing 2 weeks ago, the highs. So that wasn't last week, it was 2 weeks ago. Okay, on ZNs. Check our ZBs here. 2 weeks ago, these are acting. So we're seeing a lot more relative weakness on the longest end of the curve, which is indicative of end-stage market cycle. So be very mindful of that. So be very mindful of that. The long end of the curve is having the hardest time holding yield down, and that continues to be a problem. Okay, guys. So just be very mindful of that going forward here. Okay. Okay. And then on the news for this morning, down a little bit this morning, still holding a very critical pivot. This morning we're doing a major back test this morning. We double tagged a potential double bottom for NVIDIA this morning. I actually traded Tesla and stopped out Friday morning, and it worked out perfect. I was actually going short Tesla, but it went up higher than I expected. I was shorting the back test of this trend line. It went higher and took me out before it finally resolved lower. That kind of sucks, So bottom line is I was doing a trend line back test in the sell zone, but it went up just high enough to take me out, and then it completely kaplooped after that. It didn't get me for very much, like $50 or something like that, but still is the idea. I got stopped out on that one. Palantir showing a little bit of weakness this morning, but still a very bullish pattern. we don't want to discount the strength in that stock. FXI got a little bit of bid this morning. We had some commentators on the Bloomberg China show really talking up PDD. They just had earnings coming down. Anybody who's trading or buying Temu stuff, PDD is the holding company for Temu stuff. So they're getting impacted by the tariffs, directly impacted by the tariffs, and that could actually have a negative impact on day. So let's definitely keep that on watch. That PDD reaction could be impacting a lot of these names like Amazon, eBay. Um, so be very mindful of that, because that PDD is actually giving us a sign of how much the tariffs are having an impact on their bottom line earnings. So be very mindful of that in today's session. You couldn't pay me to go long Amazon after seeing this reaction here. So just be very mindful of that in today's session. Okay. Is there anything else? Okay. 1 second. Let me see if I can find anything. Another one I'd be concerned about today. I really wouldn't want to be buying the dip. Apple here around $200. Not particularly interested in it. I know this is a consolidation zone. That could be a consolidation for lower prices. But not particularly interested in that in today's session. How's Microsoft doing? Microsoft's been a beast. Still seems to be a beast. Just not seeing any type of sell action there. Bob was on this too, getting a little bit early this morning. Major critical support at level. No, not particularly interested in any of the China names after that PDD reaction. Okay, guys. So just heads up on that. We'll see how things play out. Just a few things I'm looking at here. Just remember, guys, we're past the window dressing for May. So the first few days of this month, I got typically they will be a little bit. They don't generally have a lot of bullishness coming in the first few days of the month, as some of the window dressing tends to come off. So be very mindful of that. Okay. Thanks a lot, and I will see you around. I am working today, so good luck. I won't be trading.